And so before we open up the space for this evening, I actually want us to honor a special man. And this evening, you know, my talk is dedicated to this special man. Because he had dreams, he had goals, he had aspirations. And his goals, dreams, and aspirations transformed the world. And every single one of us have something inside of us that can transform the world. And it may not be this grandiose, you know, big dismantling of a system. But there are systems inside of us that also need to be dismantled. We all have our own personal apartheids, whether they be in our families, whether they be in our businesses, whether they be in our communities. We all have something that needs to be crossed, a barrier that needs to be broken so that we can actually be out in the open and live our lives fully self-expressed. So let's take a moment of silence and just honor this amazing man who for 27 years was incarcerated and still dared to dream. Okay. So let's go into some of the things he said that I think are extremely powerful. But before we do that, we're going to introduce you to someone. This character is known as a dream runner. And the dream runner is the person who has taken the dream out of their mind, they've moved it into their hands, and they're out in the world moving forward with that dream, with that possibility. And the sparks of inspiration are serving as seeds of possibility out in the world. Every single one of us is a dream runner. Every single one of us has something inside of us that we are passionate about. The question is whether or not we have come to the place where we can feel comfortable with it, where we can bring it out in the open. But inside of us, every single one of us has something that we know we want to move forward with. Mandela was a dream runner. He was someone who actually brought that dream, stood by that dream, was willing to die for that dream. And because he expressed it so powerfully, other people took it on. Because one thing I know is that our dreams are not for ourselves alone. Our dreams are also for each other. And so what I want to do now is to just share a couple of quotes that Nelson Mandela expressed that I think are germane for this evening. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. And how many times have we fallen down? Have we made choices? I see some of us nodding our heads, choices that we're like, oh, but we get right back up. And so when we talk about this idea, the name of this evening, what dreams may come, it's really about identifying that it's not about executing perfectly. It's about maintaining the passion, no matter what. I repeat, it's not about executing perfectly. It's about maintaining the passion, no matter what. Because for all intents and purposes, Nelson Mandela failed, but he didn't give up. And then he became a symbol. And then other people took up that possibility until apartheid was dismantled. So let's look at the next quote. Action without vision is only passing time. Vision without action is merely daydreaming. But vision with action can change the world. The quote that inspired me to actually create the International Day for Dreamers was this: the world needs dreamers and the world needs doers, but above all, the world needs dreamers that do. So taking action around your dreams is what we're about this evening. So now that we've done justice to Mandela, let's do justice to this main concept. It always seems impossible until it's done. Right? Everyone's like, yes. It's like, that can't happen. I remember being a young child in the Bronx, and I remember hearing about this thing called apartheid, and I was like, that's just the way they do things in that part of the world. You know, that's just the way it's done. And how many of us have thought that about some part of our lives? That's just the way it's done. There's no fixing it. That's just how it's going to be. Let's just get on with it. This is how it's done. And we all have that at some place in our world, right? In our business. That's just the way it's done in this industry. That's just the way our family does it. But it's not until we embrace the impossible that we actually can move forward.